I had a son, Brian Horns,
Okay.
and he was unalived October 4th, 1999.
Brian Horns killed October 4th, 1999 in Little Rock, Arkansas. During the murder trial of Brian's killer, this is what happens next.
So when I raised my head, I looked straight into James' eyes and I cried. And my family thought I was crying about Brian. God still gave me enough power in my heart to feel bad for this little boy, because when I looked into his eyes, I saw the eyes of a scared little boy.
James Murphy was only 16 years old when he was charged and 19 when he was sentenced to 40 years in the Arkansas Department of Corrections for the murder of Brian Horns. He is currently serving out his time at the Bricky's unit in East Arkansas.
Do you plan on continuing to advocate for him until he's free?
I don't want to wait till April. I want them to let him go when his class is done in December. His family and I, we're like one big extended family. His sister and we're his brothers. We're just one big family.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm just fine today. Can't complain.
All right. All right. Who do we have listening us today?
I'm Dorothy Holloway.
Okay. Thank you for coming to Street Mothers Podcast, Miss Dorothy.
Thank you.
All right. So let's go ahead and dive into your life experience. Do you mind telling me how many children do you have, or
I had two children. I had a daughter and my son, Brian.
okay, so you said had.
I have a daughter, Tamika Stacker,
Okay.
and I had a son, Brian Horns.
Okay. So what happened with Brian?
Well, it was on a Sunday, and my husband and I had went to church out of town with his family, and so when we came in that night, it was about 11:30, and Brian was sitting on the couch, and he was just sitting there, and I said, "You here?" 'Cause I would expect for him being home. He said, "Yeah, I got to go pick up my girlfriend and the baby." And he had a little girl. She was 10 months old at the time. And I looked at the clock. I said, "Don't you think it's too late? You know, the baby probably asleep." He said, "Well, she called me, so I'm going to go get her." But he kept sitting there. So I went in my bedroom, put everything up, come back through there. He was still sitting there. And I asked him, I said, "Are you okay?" He was like, "Yeah." I went in the kitchen. I don't know what I did. I come back through there. But long story short, I asked him 3 times if he was okay, because I couldn't figure out why you just sitting here if you're going to go pick them up, because it's getting later and later. And eventually he got up and left. And I went to bed and I went straight to sleep. I was so tired. And I just give honor to God that I did not hear the gunfire in the neighborhood. It was less than a half a block away from my house. And but Tamika heard them. She woke up and she heard them. And she said it was like a boom, boom, and then kind of action. And she went to his room and he wasn't in there. She looked out in the front yard. His car wasn't there. About that time, she said the phone rang, and it was his girlfriend, and she was saying that somebody's shooting at Brian. So she knocked on my door and told me, "Mama, somebody just called and said somebody's shooting at Brian." And I tell you, I jumped out that bed, and it seemed like I was getting dressed slow, like in slow motion. But I had been doing it really fast because I left my husband behind. I had to get to my son.
Yeah.
Because if somebody's shooting at him, they're gonna have to be shooting at me too. Because I'm gonna hit that car. I'm gonna do what I can, whatever I have to do in order to save my baby. But when I got there, the police evidently was already out in the neighborhood, because when I got there, like I said, it's a half a block. They already had the yellow tape up. And I went to go under the tape, and the police officer wouldn't let me do it. And I'm just saying, please, please, let me just. I just wanted my baby to know, mommy's here. Mommy's here. Mommy's here. Let me lay my hands on. Let me lay hands on you. Let me ask God, you know. And I went to go under again, and he wouldn't let me. And I walk away, and I said, Lord, have mercy. I kept saying, Lord, have mercy. To go back just a minute, I dreamed 2 weeks prior to that happening. I dreamed 2 weeks prior that something was wrong with Brian on that particular corner that he got killed on, was unalived on. And in my dream, I was asking him, what's wrong, Brian? What's the matter? But he had his head up toward heaven and his lips were moving. And I kept walking away from him saying, Lord, have mercy. And I walked back up to him again. I said, Brian, tell me what's wrong. But his lips were still moving up toward heaven. That reminds me of Sarah in the Bible when she was asking God for a man child. Her lips were moving. She was praying. She was putting up a petition. And Elias, the priest there, said, have you been drinking? And she said, I'm not drinking any strong drink. I'm putting up a petition. So Elias said, so be it. And that's what I thought about when I saw Brian moving his lips. I don't know what he and God had going on. See? Mm-hmm. So that was between him and God. But he never paid me any attention. He walked toward the tree that he lost control in the car and hit. He hit this tree after they had shot him. Now, they said it wasn't but one shot that killed him. But I can remember in my mind, but Tamika won't, I don't want to see the pictures. And I haven't seen the pictures. But in my mind, I saw these big holes along the side of his driver's side door to the back. But they said only one bullet hit him, and that bullet went through the tail light, through the trunk, through the back seat, and entered his back, and it did not exit. So, you know, I couldn't get to him. They said it was a crime event, so therefore I couldn't get in there and get to see him. And this lady walked up to me and grabbed my hands, and she said, come on, let's pray in the spirit. But you know, when you hurting, sometimes you just can't get it together. Mm-hmm. Maybe I wasn't prepared, and I couldn't pray in the spirit. I'm thinking about him. I'm wanting him to be okay. And then somebody came up and said he had a faint pulse. And I looked up and I saw Tamika, and she was 8 months, I believe, pregnant with Dylan. And she was running from the house. She was running up the street, coming to where we was. And she was running so fast. And I was like, she's going to fall. She's going to fall. I said, catch her, somebody. And my nephew was there. He called her. And then I grabbed hold to him. We went down to the ground together. And I thought to myself, I left her completely out. How could I leave her like that? How could I leave her at home and then she wasn't there? She had to come running up by herself, you know. But it seemed like people were standing around and it was so unreal. They were laughing. They were drinking beer. They were pouring beer on the ground. I don't know what that was about. It was like they was watching a movie, and I'm screaming at them. This is not a movie. This is real. This is real life here. I mean, why are you all laughing? Take that joking on home somewhere. This ain't the place. But it seemed we stayed there for 2 hours or longer before the coroner came to get him. And so they took him out on the passenger side of the car instead of the driver's side, because the driver's side I could see. On the passenger side, I couldn't see.
Yeah, that's what they do.
And I for the longest, I kept saying, okay, maybe Brian had loaned his car to somebody else. But in my mind, I would say, okay, so where is Brian? And I'll be thinking, okay, the coroner hadn't called. So I'm thinking all kinds of things, but still saying, but where is Brian? So when they did release him, um, they had the family hour on that Friday night. I couldn't go. It seemed like it would have been two funerals for me, and I couldn't go. But my sister came to me and she said, "You need to go see your baby.
Mm-hmm.
We're having a family hour tonight, and you know how he liked to be dressed. So go make sure he's got on what you think he would approve of." It took everything out of me. Looked like to just walk those steps. And even though I didn't know how much the girlfriend had to do this, that's why I'm not mentioning her name, because I don't know how much she had to do with it, because I wasn't there, but she was. And so
She was. You
she
saying
was
she was with
she
when he passed
was
away?
she was with them when the gunshots were
Okay.
going off.
Okay,
She
I
was
got
in the car with the man um, that said it's going down. So it was like something they done set up on my son. They said like the girlfriend was in the car with this guy. I'm not gonna mention his
you.
name.
Yeah.
Um, and he was one that made a call and said it's going down. Well, I asked her what was going down, and she said, "Well, I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. I don't think, in my heart, I don't think she meant for them to kill him or unalive him. Um, I think maybe she thought they were going to beat him up, teach him a lesson or something, because he was on and off.
So okay, I'm a bit confused on it. Okay,
Okay.
so Brian was by himself in the car,
He was by himself.
and then they were in a different car.
They were in a different
Okay,
car.
I'm following.
Okay. They were in a different car, yeah. So they were following Brian. Well, he went over there to pick her up because she had called. Because he's sitting out in front of her house, but she got the boy, the man that was driving the car to take her home. But when she saw Brian's car, she said that she told him don't stop because she didn't know what Brian was going to do. So I questioned her on that. What do you mean I don't know what Brian was going to do? You called for him to come over there. And I said, call the police on my son. If he come over there and act a fool with you, call the police on my son. I'd rather for you to call the police on him for you to kill him in the streets like a dog. And um, so I could never. I do remember three things she said. These are three things that I will never ever forget. It will never leave my mind. When she came to the scene, I think her mother brought her to the scene. I'm going back a little bit.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Came to the scene. She came running to me and she was saying, "I'm sorry, Brian. I didn't mean it, Brian. Forgive me, Brian." And I asked right then and there, "What are you sorry about? Forgive you for what? What is it that you didn't mean? Well, tell me. Just tell me." But that's all she kept crying and saying. So, like I said, I don't know how much she had to do. So, but I did when we got ready to go and see my son before the family hour. I called her and asked her, "Do you want to go with me to see him?" So we went and picked her up and I took her. That was my heart.
Yeah, that's your heart.
That was my heart. But I wanted her, you know. So she came and it was really hard. I can remember standing at the coffin, and in my head I was saying, "Get up, Brian. Brian, just get up." I kept saying, knowing he couldn't get up, but I'm saying this, and I think I just went down to the floor. It felt like I was floating in the air, but my husband was carrying me. I couldn't I couldn't handle it.
Like an out of body experience, you looking at yourself.
Yes.
I understand.
And so after that, whew, we getting ready for the funeral, and a girlfriend asked me if she could ride in the family car with us, and I told her no, and I told the reason why I said no. Number one, I know she had a baby by my son, but they was not married. Number two, I don't know
What's
how
going?
much she had to do with that. And then number three, there were so many people out to get her. And I didn't want it to be no commotion at my son's homegoing. So, but I told her, if y'all want to come, come. You just can't ride in the family car with me. And she's upset with me about that. And she probably still is upset.
Yeah.
I can understand. I mean, I understand it all. I get it. I still love her. I love her.
You
And
just really, it would be much easier, you feel like, if you just knew exactly what happened.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I could take it better.
Yeah. And you can forgive
I
more
can
without
forgive.
just really kind of,
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, after that, we was going to. It was so many people at the funeral. This is a big church, and there was no seating room. People were against the wall. People was lined up outside, and there were people that I didn't think my son even knew. These people came in dressed in 3-piece suits, shoes shining. I noticed this because I'm like, I would think they would come in and like in, I'm sorry, like in, the
hood
jeans, the hoodie people wear and stuff, but I mean, they coming in clean, and I'm like, I did not know my son knew these type of people. On his jobs. He worked at many jobs, and I can't think of. I should be able to think of that one particular one, but this man came to me. Brian was a bakery at that restaurant, and he said, I can ask Brian to do the dirtiest work that nobody else wanted to do, and Brian would do it with a smile on his face. And each job that knew him, when they come to the house, they brought envelopes of money. And I really didn't have to pay for anything. They all paid.
That's a blessing.
And I was just so grateful for that. But on the way to burial, how the cars would, I'm looking at the trees first. I'm looking at the trees, and the leaves are green and red, brown, all the pretty colors, yellow. But I also see the cars just pulling over to the side, stopping for the bereaved family as they come through. I thought that was awesome. I don't know why, but you see that a lot.
Yeah.
But for me at that time, I thought, wow, it's awesome.
So with Brian passing away so long ago, and my podcast, we do a lot of mothers that have lost their children. How do you go about your day to day? Because it's been years now.
Now, my day to day, there is never not a day that I don't think about him. I have a big picture on my wall of his graduation. And at that time, he wore the big fro. Do you remember?
Yeah, that's what he was wearing.
Yeah. He wore the big fro. And he's on that wall. And every time I look up at it, it's like he's looking right at me. Wherever I move, his eyes are still on me. And I just love that. And I still cry. On holiday. Actually, it starts on his birthday.
Okay.
The end of the year is a bad year for me.
His
birthday is 9/11.
I was just getting ready to ask you that.
Yeah,
Yep.
his birthday is 9/11, 9/11.
Okay.
And then, of course, he was unalived on October 4th. That's the next month. I got the next month now to look forward to. It's the 4th coming up. How am I going to be? How am I going to handle it? And then after that, it's Thanksgiving. He's not here for Thanksgiving.